Good Thursday morning. Thanks so much for joining us here at 7 o'clock. I'm Caitlin Francis.
I'm Caitlin Nuclo. You're watching Eyewitness News here on the Wax or WFSB Plus, and we appreciate that. A lot to talk about here, but first, let's say hello to meteorologist Tyler Hughes for a check on that first alert forecast. Hey, good morning, Tyler.
Hey, good morning. How are you guys this morning?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. A little cold, but I mean, look at the sunrise.
I know, it's beautiful.
It's absolutely gorgeous. So it's shaping up to be a really nice day, just as long as you bring that sweatshirt or that jacket along, right? Look at temperatures outside this morning. I had to use the defroster on my way into work. You probably will too. 27 degrees in the capital city right now. 28 Meriden, 35 New Haven, 25 one of our cooler spots this morning, Salisbury up through Tolland as well. Actually, we're at 23 in Willimantic right now. That's the coldest spot on the map. So if you're headed out the door, the jacket, the winter hat, maybe even the gloves, depending on how sensitive to the cold you are, right? That's what you'll need at least this morning. By this afternoon, things will get a little better. So if the kids are out to the bus stop, kids, you will have outdoor recess today. High temperatures up into the 40s. A few clouds around lunchtime, but then we begin to clear things out once again later on this afternoon. We'll call it 42 to 48 degrees for high temperatures, depending on where you are. Again, clearing out with more blue skies later in the afternoon we go, and also very little wind today. So today will be another much needed break from that wind that we had earlier on this week, right? We're also talking about the next big thing here in the first alert forecast. That is a round of rain that arrives late Tuesday into early Wednesday. So most of it arrives overnight. At least that's how things are looking at the moment. That's good news for your Thanksgiving plans, but we'll step you through all of that. Plus, when we have a chance for some showers before then. That's all coming up in the first alert forecast in just a few minutes. Right now, though, let's get you out to the roads on this Thursday morning. How's everything looking, Kate?
All right, so unfortunately, we are dealing with a first alert here. We've got a crash in Danbury 84 westbound between exits 6 and 5. The left lane there is blocked off. Let's take you out and give you a look. This is the closest vantage point we can get. You can see some of those flashing lights that are just kind of passing through the screen now. But again, we are dealing with some delays as you're heading out through that direction. We've got some on and off ramps closed here in Plainfield, 395 northbound, exit 32. Again, that on and off ramp there blocked off because of some road work taking place. And again, upper two cameras on your screen right now are in Danbury. You can see once again that tow truck just arriving there, heading towards that crash site. We've got some delays through the area. Rest of the state not looking bad as you are getting ready to head out the door. Again, we've been talking about it all morning. It is cold. You might have some frost on that windshield you need to take care of before you hit the road. Your drive times, though, not looking bad. 33-minute ride into Hartford on 84 eastbound, and just a little over an hour and a half ride there, New Haven to the George Washington Bridge, 95 southbound. Let's check out your Connecticut Chevy First Alert traffic report driven by your Connecticut Chevy dealers.
All right, some developing news here in New Haven to get to this morning. Parents are being warned about a phishing email targeting thousands of students' bank accounts.
Yeah, so the district called this a sophisticated attack, and now they're working to find out exactly how many students fell for the scam. Your reporter Taylor Knight explains what parents need to know this morning.
Well, students here at Hill House are checking their inboxes this morning. 10,000 of those scam emails went out to students all across New Haven, and so far about 1,000 of them have been opened. School officials say at least 4 student accounts were used by scammers to send mass emails to other students, likely making this attack even more difficult to spot. School officials say it's impossible to track exactly how many students submitted their bank information at this point, but now students are on the lookout, checking their inboxes.
I don't really get emails from a friend, so if I see an email from a friend, I'll be shocked. I'll be like, oh, because before someone sent me an email, they would tell me, they'll be like, oh, Salah, I'm about to send you this assignment, or so if I see it, I'll be like, oh, why is he sending me an email?
We are still working to figure out just how many students filled out those fraudulent forms. Ahead at 6:30, we'll explain what you need to do if your child did give away their banking information. Your reporter in New Haven, Taylor Knight, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Let's get you an update now. The investigation continues this morning into what caused a fire at Foxwoods Resort Casino. More than 20 departments responded to the David Burke Steakhouse after the fire broke out and then spread to the HVAC system. 3 firefighters were hurt. They are all back home from the hospital this morning. That's some good news. The restaurant, though, remains closed as cleanup continues.
Well, this morning, a state trooper now facing more criminal charges after allegedly firing a gun inside of his Griswold home. Edward Gookin is charged with illegal discharge of a firearm, also risk of injury to a child after he was arrested back in August. Investigators say he was drunk while handling a weapon. 1 round went through the floor. No one was hurt. He's on desk duty right now. And an update here this morning, a suspect has admitted to driving while being impaired and causing a deadly wrong-way crash in Westbrook last year. Court records show Troy Bree pleaded guilty to manslaughter in the death of Mark Palumbo Jr. Bree is due back in court in January.
Right now, we are working to find out more about what caused a deadly crash between a dump truck and a pedestrian on Woodland Avenue in Bloomfield. A man was killed. Police tell us the driver of the truck told them they didn't know they hit somebody, but they are cooperating with that investigation this morning.
A Connecticut health system could move out of network for thousands of patients, which could cost you more or mean you have to change doctors. This morning, officials are warning if you have Aetna insurance, UConn Health will go out of network for most customers and all Medicare members starting December 1st. That's if the two sides aren't able to reach an agreement on a new contract. Aetna claims UConn Health wants to be one of the most expensive health systems in New England, saying their proposal would make it more expensive for patients. UConn Health, though, saying its reimbursement rates are among the lowest in the state and says Aetna's claims are not true. And as discussions continue here, here's what patients need to know this morning. Connecticut state law requires a 60-day cooling off period, they call it, once a contract between an insurance company and a healthcare provider expires. So that means some patients will still be covered for a couple more months, but it doesn't apply to everyone. If you have questions here, call the number on the back of your insurance card. Your reporter Anna Stansfield is also breaking down a lot more of this ahead and also on the WFSB.com. Well, right now, parents in Middletown are demanding answers after the former superintendent of schools kept his job for months, even after he was arrested for drunk driving and he let his certification lapse.
Well, tonight, the Board of Education might be selecting a new leader there, at least for the interim. Your reporter Roger Susannon explains why this process has taken so long and what happens next.
Well, I can answer the second question for you. The first one, though, is still a little bit more mysterious. But we do know that board members will hold a public meeting tonight here at the Board of Education meeting in Middletown, where they are expected to discuss naming a new interim superintendent. But we still don't know why the former district leader kept his job for so long, even with so many storm clouds surrounding his tenure. Looking back, this police body camera footage obtained exclusively by Channel 3 shows the moment Alberto Vasquez Matos' tenure as Middletown Superintendent of Schools began to unravel, although that process took a long time. Police arrested him back in July after officers in Florida say Vasquez Matos drove drunk. Then, Board of Ed members say he let his superintendent certification lapse on September 16th, but he continued to lead the district until the board took action last week, nearly 2 months later, and placed him on administrative leave before finally firing him on Tuesday. Now, Board of Ed members say they'll likely name a new superintendent of schools tonight, although it's still unclear why it took them so long to drop the axe on the former district leader, despite his apparent many missteps. And tonight's high-stakes meeting kicks off here at the Board of Education meeting at 6:30 tonight. Of course, we'll keep you posted on what happens on air and on the WFSB News app. In Middletown this morning, I'm your reporter Roger Susannon, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Well, today, former New Britain Mayor Erin Stewart expected to officially launch her campaign for governor. She filed paperwork to run earlier this week. Stewart did not seek another term as mayor of New Britain after serving for 12 years there. Other candidates in the race here for governor, right there on your screen, include Republican State Senator Ryan Fazio, incumbent Ned Lamont, and State Representative Josh Elliott running on the Democratic side.
State regulators just rejected a plan to sell Aquarion Water Company, and now Eversource is weighing next steps. The plan was rejected over concerns it could have caused your water bills to skyrocket, creating $800 million of debt that likely would have been passed on to customers. Pura says Eversource can appeal, though.
Well, today, state housing officials say more than 6,000 people could lose their homes in January if cuts to a federal assistance program go through. Housing providers are hosting a roundtable to talk about it this afternoon. Advocates say Connecticut is at risk of losing $64 million from a program that helps people pay their rent. And a heads up here, if you commute and it takes you down to Bull Avenue in Wallingford, you might need to find a new route in the next few days. Starting today until next Tuesday, the road will be closed from 7 in the morning until 5 at night between Hall and Geneva Avenues. A water service construction project going on here. Pinpoint News Tracker shows you what we're talking about there. Local traffic will be allowed through.
Channel 3 is your home for the UConn Huskies, and this morning UConn basketball fans anxiously awaiting the next AP rankings. They're expected on Monday. The men's team could drop from number 3 overall after a close loss, tough loss, to 4th-ranked Arizona at Gamble. It was the first top 5 matchup in stores in almost 20 years, and it did not disappoint. UConn trailed by 11 in the second half. They came back to take the lead, but then Arizona eventually came out with the win, 71-67.